Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation today. My name is Paul Arsuf, and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. But I'm going to talk about our project in the end of this presentation, and the topic of this presentation today is Online Harms Act upcoming legislation, which can do more harm instead of doing good. We're in the time in between Christmas and New Year's, and it's a time of holidays, a time of joy and joining family and being happy, eating good food and celebrating. But this presentation is going to sound warnings. Warnings because something is proposed by politicians which does not make sense and maybe serves a specific group of people who want to control the society in white. But let's come back to the presentation and like a legislation to develop online protections for privacy and against harmful online activities has been long awaited. However, the legislation proposed by some politicians in the federal government in Canada on February 2024, so-called Bill C-63, isn't hitting the mark. With Parliament in session, it's likely that Bill C-63 will soon be brought back in second reading. And for this reason, like organizations which deal with privacy and protecting of the rights of the people, like Civil Liberties Union, they're preparing series of presentations to outline the concerns with focus on part 2 of the proposed bill and proposed amendments to the criminal code as we renew the plea for the government to modify and change or eliminate entirely part 2 from this legislation. But what is Bill C-63? This is an act to enact the Online Harms Act to amend the Criminal Code, the Canadian Human Rights Act, and an act respecting the mandatory reporting of internet child pornography by persons who provide an internet service and to make consequential and related amendments to other acts. Bill 63 is an ominous bill, a type of a bill which combines a range of separate issues and currently has four distinctive parts. Part 1 proposes to address the issue of online harms, for example, non-consequential distribution of intimate image or images, content that indicates children to harm themselves, and content which incites violence of terrorism. Part 2 proposes to make several amendments to the criminal code, increasing penalties for hate speech related crimes, the worst among these being life imprisonment as a potential penalty for all crimes and all federal offenses. If a new hate motivation offense is attached, it would also introduce a new peace bond that aims to restrict people from potentially hateful behavior even before they have done anything illegal. Part 3 will reintroduce a section of the Canadian Human Rights Act to enable human rights complaints for internet communications. And Part 4 will create mandatory reporting measures for internet child pornography. In the Civil Liberties Opinion Organizations, Civil Liberties Union Organization's opinion, there's some welcome development in Part 1 and Part 4. However, Parts 2 and 3 are being problematic, diverting valuable debates needed around Part 1 and Part 4 and should be severed from the bill. While this deep dive presentation primarily focuses on Part 2, let's take a quick look at Part 3. In the Civil Liberties Union view, the reintroduction of a problematic section of the Canadian Human Rights Act would only serve to flood the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal with complaints beyond its capacity. Countless insults, offensive remarks, threats, and genuinely problematic statements are posted daily on social media. The tribunal can't possibly sort through them all, or even through the fraction of complaints that would likely be filed. According to Part 3 in Bill C-63, complaints could request to be anonymous or could potentially include a large number of people who see a viral post, while the tribunal's monetary rewards could rise to $20,000. There's a real danger that people will use the new provision to gain money or to carry out a grudge. Given how ineffective this would be, the Civil Liberties Union has also urged the government to sever Part 3. Now back to Part 2, which is the most deeply alarming and problematic, and which we believe should not be enacted at all. The overreaches of the criminal code provisions under Part 2 have been a major point of concern across Canada, with strong oppositions from advocacy groups across a wide political and social spectrum. These groups and these advocacy groups feel that and other critics agree that Part 2 of Bill C-63 will create draconian rules, cause chilling effects on free expression, meaning that people may fear speaking out even when they have a constitutional right to do so, and will distract from the needed debate and discussion on Part 1 and Part 4 of the bill. More than this, the organizations like Civil Liberty Union, they feel that Part 2 will likely harm some of the people who are most often targeted by hatred, people who this bill purports to protect. In this case of three-part deep dive into Bill C-63, we share with you some of our overall concerns with Part 2 and why we think it should be struck from the bill entirely. New life imprisonment penalties are unacceptable and unnecessary. Part 2 of Bill C-63 would introduce a new hate motivation offense, which could create penalties up to life imprisonment for any online crime or federal offense if found to be motivated by hate. This means spray painting racist words on a wall could be considered as bad as murder, or worse, at least more harshly punishable than actual sexual assault. Likewise, offenses in the federal legislation could be turned into indictable crimes punishable by life imprisonment if found to be motivated by hate. This covers a wide range of activities, including refusing to answer unofficial census, falsifying business documents, or obstructing customs officers. The civil liberty unions consider this enormous expansion of potential carceral and life imprisonment penalties and consider this to be unacceptable. Likewise, offenses in federal legislation could be turned into indictable crimes punishable by life imprisonment if found to be motivated by hate. This covers a wide range of activities, including refusing to answer unofficial census, falsifying business documents, or obstructing customs officers. The new hate motivation offense itself is also unnecessary. Hate motivation is already an aggravating factor and can lead to higher sentences, and we already have criminal offenses for public indictment of hatred, willful promotion of hatred, and willful promotion of anti-Semitism. We also having criminal offenses for harassment, nuisance, mischief, assault, non-consequential distribution of intimate images, aiding and abetting more serious crimes, and most other problematic behavior connected to acts of hatred. The issue here is that these existing laws are not being enforced. Introducing harsher criminal penalties will not resolve this enforcement problem. Police are choosing to put their resources into decamping homeless people, enforcing injunctions for private corporations, and deploying heavily armed tactical units against protesters. To our knowledge, police aren't putting the same level of resources into following up on the numerous hate crimes that have already been reported to them, not in holding members of their own forces accountable for displaying hateful behavior. Reports by civil liberty union offices of like and the Human Rights Commissioner and like women's shelters centers indicate that people reporting hate-related crimes may be ignored by the police or may face systematic barriers in reporting these incidents, such as racism from police, lack of accountability, and lack of access to legal support. Bill C-63 does not address any of these barriers. We won't actually use it. It's not justification. The Minister of Justice has argued that Part 2 of Bill C-63 won't actually be used to impose life imprisonment for minor offenses or incidents. However, even the threat of incarceration will create a chilling effect. People will be less inclined to speak freely, to protest openly, or to challenge government decisions if they are afraid of being arrested and imprisoned, even if these actions are legitimate. It is also at best naive to claim that the new laws will not be used in negative ways after Parliament has authorized these uses. At its most basic, if the government is saying it doesn't want a piece of legislation to be used the way it is written, then the legislation should not be passed into law and should be excluded from the proposed legislation. Parliament also cannot blithely leave the criminal justice system to sort everything out. Judges may apply the law as it is written. It's against the rules of statutory interpretation to assume that Parliament intended a piece of duly enacted law to carry no meaning or weight. And if it's intended to carry no meaning or weight, it should not be included at all. As it is written, Bill C-63 explicitly authorizes the use of punishments up to and including life imprisonment for every crime and federal offense if found to be motivated by hate, including all minor ones. Innocent people will be unnecessarily hurt. Innocent people are willing to plead guilty to an offense that carries a lesser penalty rather than risk life imprisonment. Academic research shows that these types of wrongful conviction have already occurred in Canada. With its new potential for life imprisonment for any hate-motivated crime or federal offense, Part 2 of Bill C-63 risks drastically increasing the potential of wrongful convictions in Canada. Not in its nor it is accurate to say that a person can simply prove their innocence at trial with no harms done. The criminal law process itself is a punishing experience to go through. Even if an innocent person doesn't plead guilty and chooses to fight their case in court, the criminal law process is hugely expensive, it is stressful and disruptive to people's lives. With the new amendments to the criminal code under Bill 63, a much broader range of people will be exposed to potential criminal liability or criminal proceedings. For instance, federal offenses related to taxes, banking, or immigration could become crimes potentially punishable by incarceration and all the way up to life imprisonment. This is a very dangerous development. Criminal sections in general and life imprisonment in particular should be reserved for the most extreme circumstances and for more extreme crimes. Democracy requires freedom of speech. The ability to express criticism of governments, institutions, and ideas should never be taken for granted. But freedom of expression requires making space for different views, which also means allowing space for views that some may consider unpleasant, offensive, or simply different than their own world view. According to Supreme Court of Canada, the view of the majority has no need of constitutional protection. Freedom of expression does not truly begin until it gives rise to a duty to tolerate what other people say if this ensures the development of a democratic, open, and pluralistic society. In this case, Part 2 of Bill C-63 may intend to serve a public good by reducing hate speech, but unfortunately, the means chosen by the government and proposed legislation will reduce all speech, whether hateful or simply unpopular, including the views of minority groups already facing discrimination. For instance, these new amendments could further suppress pro-Palestinian speech in Canada, and residents of Quebec speaking against English Canadian interference. or indigenous land defenders seeking to exclude colonial powers from their lands, or refugees protesting the actions of their former countries. All these legitimate perspectives that could be silenced from fear of these proposed and highly punitive laws. Social interactions and open communications are important tools that can convince people to adopt broader and more inclusive perspectives. If people are too afraid to voice their prejudices, they may never hear any pushback or challenges to their world views. Ultimately, this type of suppression of speech, thought, and public disclosure is more likely to create further hatred and misunderstanding than reduce it. With this, we renew our plea for Parliament to sever Part 2 of Bill C-63. There is important work to be done to prevent online harms through Part 1 and Part 4, but Part 2 of these proposed bills must go and give space for other parts to be discussed, to get the discussion they deserve. We join a chorus of civil society organizations, advocacy groups, and concerns individuals to call the government to sever Part 2 from Bill C-63. And with this, we are ending this presentation, and coming back to the beginning of this presentation, where I told you that my name is Paul Arsov. I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project, and recently we did release a marketplace and collection of NFTs which are based on three-dimensional objects. With three-dimensional objects, there has to be special software which loads and displays these 3D objects, and usually people who create these 3D objects, they use software like game engines, and currently there are two very popular choices of game engines being used. One of them is called Unity, and the other one is called Unreal. But from the very beginning of our 3D NFT project, we decided to build our own 3D software engine, and with this what our 3D software engine does is it reads the file of the 3D object, then it opens a window on a computer screen, it loads the file in this and displays it in this window. It open, and then it starts animating the 3D NFT in a way of moving it in a random fashion around the window it did open. But in addition to loading, opening a window, displaying and animating of the 3D NFT, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of speaking. The 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken either in a normal speed manner or in a fast speed manner or in a slow speed manner. And if, for example, we take a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a very masculine person or the voice of an old person. If, on the other hand, we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a little girl or the voice of a funny person. The second additional and important capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of recognizing voice commands. If, for example, we are having a 3D NFT which is moving, being animated and moving in a random fashion around the window, then we can issue our very first voice command to this 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. We can issue following voice commands to a 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, come closer, zoom in, go farther away, zoom out, and start rotating. The next additional important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them having basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. You can ask the 3D NFT, who are you? And then the 3D NFT is going to reply with who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT, what is your name? And the 3D NFT is going to tell you their name. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something. For example, describe Web3, or describe decentralization, or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe in a few sentences about Web3 or about decentralization or about the country called Russia. The last additional and important capability of the 3D NFTs is the capability of displaying them in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or bluish colors. Then you can come to our 3D NFT marketplace website, and probably now is the time of me to tell you the name and the URL of the website of our 3D NFT marketplace. The name and the URL is 3dnft decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFT is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by three other letters NFT, and it is altogether 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are two words, and they are all together. Decentralized web. And there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, 3D NFT dot decentralized web dot org. On the top of the main page, you're going to see number of links, and you can see one link for accessories. When you click on this link, you're going to see that we're offering special glasses. You can go ahead and order one pair of these glasses, and when you receive these glasses, you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and the other lens of these glasses is blue. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request this link, the 3D NFT in web stereoscopics, and then you are going to see this 3D NFT as coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see this 3D NFT in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I'm going to end talking about our 3D software engine and our collection of 3D NFTs, and I like to mention something about our 3D NFT marketplace. In our 3D NFT marketplace, we have our own blockchain instance. This blockchain instance runs Ethereum software, and this is the same software which runs on like number of big and important blockchains, which runs on Ethereum, it runs on Binance Smart Chain, it runs on Polygon Matic blockchain, it runs on Avalanche AVAX blockchain, and it runs on many other blockchains currently in operation. By having our own blockchain instance, we do not require our users to pay gas fees for deployments of the smart contracts of the non-fungible tokens, and transactions of transfer of ownership from one user to another user. In this way, we detach our 3D NFTs from a single popular blockchains which can be used for buying and selling of the 3D NFTs, and we allow our users to use multiple crypto coins for buying and then receiving proceedings from sale of our 3D NFTs. Currently, the choice is for buying and receiving proceedings from sales of 3D NFTs include 4 different crypto coins. The choice includes Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche AVAX, and Qcoin, which is a big centralized crypto exchange. They have a coin called KCS. But in addition to buying and receiving proceedings from sale in crypto, we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. Like if, for example, you are the user, you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you click on the composite image on the main page of our first collection of 3D NFTs. Then you're going to see all of the 3D NFTs in our first collection listed one after another. You can browse through the choices and for example you see one 3D NFT that you like, you click on this 3D NFT and then you're going to be presented with a short video of this 3D NFT as it is moving. Then you're going to see a drop down box, and when you click on this drop down box you're going to see 4 choices of payment with crypto, and then a 5th choice of choosing to pay with fiat currency. So let's say you select this payment with fiat currency, then you click on the button to advance next, and then you're going to be presented with a screen where you can put the number of your debit or credit card, the expiration date, and the CVC code. When you click on the button to advance next, what is going to happen is there is going to be a transaction and a charge on your debit or credit card in your national fiat currency, and then this charge in national fiat currency, your national fiat currency is going to be converted in US dollars and submitted in our bank account. We're going to follow this section with like a second action and a transfer of the initial ownership from our 3D NFT marketplace to you, and now you become a current user of this 3D NFT which you just purchased. You can play a little bit with the 3D NFT, and at some point after a while you may decide to put this 3D NFT for sale. Then like let's say there's a second user, they come to our 3D NFT marketplace, they browse through the 3D NFTs, and they see and like the 3D NFT which you put for sale. So what is going to happen is then, let's say the second user clicks on this NFT which was placed for sale. They see the choices of payment in crypto or in fiat currency. They select payment with fiat currency, and they click to advance next. They put their debit or credit card, and they click on the button to make the payment. And then what is going to happen is there's going to be a transaction and transfer and conversion from the national fiat currency of the second user, which could be different than your national fiat currency of you, the first user, and it could be different than US dollars. Then this second national fiat currency is going to be converted to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. Then we're going to follow this action with a transaction and a transfer of ownership from you, the current user, to the second user, and now the second user becomes current owner of this 3D NFT. Then we're going to follow this action with a third action and transfer and conversion from US dollars to the national fiat currency of EU and the first user and deposit of this national fiat currency in your bank account. With this said, I'm ending the description of our 3D NFT marketplace and our 3D software engine and collection of our 3D NFTs. And I like to mention a second and important project that we are working on, and this project relates to power management, and it relates to now the growth and exponential increase in electric vehicles and devices which are going to use electric energy. Like this project did release an article, and this article describes the current way the electric vehicles are being charged, and this model, which is currently adopted by places which provides charging for electric vehicles, is like similar to the model provided by gas stations for internal combustion engines. Currently, gas stations are like special places. They have a little little place where there are number of gas columns, and cars, internal combustion cars, they come to these places. They put a special handle to the vehicle, they load fuel, and they pay fuel with their debit or credit card directly at the column, or they pay it at the location of the probably a little store, a little convenience store where people can buy candies or snacks, and they can make a payment for the gas they purchased. But in a similar way, we have some special places with some few columns, and these few columns allow a limited number of electric vehicles to connect cables and load electricity in there in the batteries of the cars, and they can also stay at this location for period of time, minimum 15 minutes or half an hour or even more. And the article that we wrote and we released in our project explains that eventually, with the exponential growth of electric vehicles, this number of charging places would become insufficient and inadequate to allow charging of the exponential growth of electric vehicles. So what we're proposing is creating like we're proposing creating a model which resembles the parking lot model, where vehicles come and uh, they stay at the parking lot, either at the place of their work or the place of like their home, if they live in like an apartment building. Usually apartment buildings have parking lots which could go one floor in one floor underground, or several floors underground. And usually these underground parking lots, they are not outfitted and like electrified with chargers to allow charging of electric vehicles to them on the place they're living, or the place they're working. If they work in like high-rise building. So what we're proposing is installing special type of chargers, which could include one device, allowing 4 different chargers, and this device also allows it is outfitted with near field communication reader, and it allows identifying of the user, and then through their debit, credit card, or a special card, special token, or a special ring, which is outfitted with an NFT device, and it allows identifying of the user who wants to charge their vehicle. It starts the specific cable for charging, and then it allows billing of this user throughout the time which they use for charging of their vehicle at the parking lot, at their home location, or their work location, if in both places they are in high-rise buildings parking lots. So we're proposing and we're building currently in development number of devices which are going to respond to this need, and you can check the development and the separate and different devices which we are starting to release with on the website of this special this second project which we are currently working on. The URL and the name of this project is power.rstack.com. Power is the ordinate word for power, then there's dot, then there's I can spell the RStack as Alpha, Robert, Sierra, Tom, Echo, Charlie, Hotel. Altogether it's RStack, and then there's dot, and then it ends with com. Once again, power.rstack.com. In addition to handling of powering of electric vehicles, we have the capability of wireless communication, wireless connection, of these special devices which we're going to provide, and we can like report this like electric consumption to the like to the building management, and usually big buildings, big commercial buildings, for example, which provide office spaces, or big strata which manages a specific building, a specific residential building. These buildings may have a power envelope which they have with the power utility. What this means is that this building has like a monthly limited monthly consumption in kilowatt hours, in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of kilowatt hours per month, which they could use. Like extending over this limit like is coming with very big penalties and like significantly increased charge for them this big commercial building or big building with strata management. In addition to this, we could provide reporting also directly to the power utility, so that they could actually allow starting of the charging at a specific timing, instead of like, for example, having a huge number of electric vehicles starting to charge at 12 a.m. Because at 12 a.m. The utility has like lower charge, and like if huge number of electric vehicles they start to charge exactly at 12 a.m. we are going to have a huge increase in the electric consumption, which the power utility cannot handle immediately, and it could lead to cascading failures and blackouts in neighborhood cities and regions because of this high demand at specific starting time of charging. With this reporting to the electric utility can request gradual starting to charge in timing slots of electric vehicles, and the slots could be in minutes or in tens of minutes, which would not like harms slow down specifically charging of the electric vehicles, but allow the power utility to bring increased like generating capability for the consumers. And with this said, I'm ending this presentation. Thank you for coming. Thank you for viewing. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, and goodbye.